Hello and welcome to this new Burda style video, which explains Model 1A from Burda Easy, number 5, September to October 2020. The model is a blouson jacket, which is neither too light nor too heavy, making it ideal for autumn. The zip fastener, elastic band on the sleeves, and Jacquard fabric are elegant and casual at the same time. The round neckline is perfect for the season. You can wear a roll neck, scarf, or loop with it. This is a practical, trendy jacket that adapts to anyone. I selected Jacquard fabric in a polyester and cotton blend with a white background and Japanese motif to give the model an exotic and attractive look. To sew it, you'll need thread that matches the fabric, a normal needle for your sewing machine, straight pins, a needle for sewing by hand, a safety pin, fabric scissors, a tape measure, tailor's chalk, a pen, and a ruler. You'll also need a divisible zip fastener, elastic band, and iron-on interfacing whose details and measurements are listed in our magazine. To sew the seams and neaten the model's edges, I use the Experience 560 sewing machine from Elna. For neatening the edges, I recommend using a special overlock stitch if you have it on your sewing machine. If not, use a zigzag stitch. And if you have an overlock machine, do not hesitate to use it to achieve neat results. I cut out pieces 1, 2, 3A, 3B, 8, and 9, which are printed on sheet 1. According to the layout, pieces 3A and 3B must be taped together along the joining line as indicated on the information and sewing advice page of our magazine. Afterwards, pin the paper pattern piece to the fabric according to the layout. Transfer all the markings and notches and add the seam and hem allowances that are listed in the magazine. You also have to cut out pieces 8 and 9 from the iron-on interfacing. First, I neaten the front edges of the front piece. I open the zip fastener completely to be able to place each piece on the front edges. The zip fastener and the front pieces are right sides together, and the zip fastener is on the seam allowance. The ends of the zip fastener begin and end on the relevant seam line. To be certain, you can baste the zip fastener to the front pieces or pin it. I used clips, which are very practical when the fabric is thick. I remove the presser foot and replace it with my special zipper foot. I switch back to the straight stitch and sew the edges together. Do not forget to reinforce the seams, and the same applies to all the following connecting seams. I fold the seam allowance of the front edges with the zip fastener bands to the inside and stitch 7 millimeters from the edge. I place the front pieces on the back piece, right sides together, stitch the shoulders together from seam 1, and do the same to the side seams. I neaten the seam allowances together and press all seams to the back piece. I neaten the seam allowance, press them to the inside, and stitch 3.5 centimeters from the edge. I can add adhesive strips to have a steady guide. I place the front facings and the back facings right sides together and stitch the shoulders along seam 2, then press the seams apart. I neaten the outer edges of the facing. Now I pin the facing to the neckline of the jacket, right sides together, and make sure that the shoulder seams meet. I fold the front edges of the facing and stitch the pieces together. I trim the allowances and clip the curves, ending quite close to the seam. I press the seam allowances towards the facing and top stitch the facing quite close to the seam. The top stitching keeps the allowances together, and when the facing is on the inside later, the stitching is not invisible from the outside. I press the facing to the inside and sew the front edges to the zip fastener band by hand. Now I fold each sleeve lengthwise on the wrong side of the fabric and stitch the allowances together along seam 6. I neaten the allowances separately and press the seams apart. I pin the sleeve to the armhole, right sides together. The sleeve and side seams meet, and the notch at the sleeve head matches the shoulder seam, and notch 5 on the front piece matches the sleeve. I stitch the allowances together, trim them, and neaten them together. I also neaten the lower sleeve edges and now press their allowances to the inside. I top stitch the lower sleeve edges at 3.5 centimeters from the fold and secure the seam ends, leaving an opening for the elastic band. Now I wrap the elastic band around my wrist to estimate the length I need. The elastic band should not be too tight. It should allow a comfortable wrist width. Remember that the thick layer of fabric can affect your comfort. I mark the elastic, remembering to add the allowances so I can sew the ends together. I measure precisely to have the same length on both sleeves. I fasten the safety pin to the elastic band in order to thread the elastic band through the hem. As soon as the elastic band protrudes from the opening, I place the marks for the allowances together. With a few stitches, I sew the elastic band together by hand. Now I can trim the elastic band and use the sewing machine to close the sleeve openings. On the other sleeve, I repeat the same steps. The jacket is now finished. You are ready for autumn. After you have sewn this model, show the community by posting the results in our Facebook group, Burda Style Official, or tag us on Instagram. Remember to subscribe to this channel to receive information on the next tutorials. Burda Style thanks and recommends its partner, Elna. Have fun with your sewing project and see you soon with new Burda Easy video tutorials.